Welcome to Lifestyle Solopreneur, the community for entrepreneurs who put lifestyle first. Join your host, Flavia Barris, as she interviews successful lifestyle solopreneurs and shares ideas to help you find the perfect balance between lifestyle, business, and self. Flavia is an attorney, marketing expert, and founder of several online academies. She's been featured in major media, including BBC World News, The Wall Street Journal, The New York Post, ESPN Television, and more. Join us for this episode of Lifestyle Solopreneur.
Hey, Lifestyle Solopreneurs. Today we get to speak with Rodney George. He is a luxury travel consultant based in Naples, Florida. He's got over 15 years of experience in the travel industry. He now heads an agency of travel professionals with a combined 185 years of travel experience. His passion for travel and expertise in luxury accommodations and experiences have made him a sought-after consultant for discerning luxury travelers. He's got a keen eye for detail and dedication to providing personalized service. He and his team work closely with all of their clients to curate that perfect travel experience. Whether it's a romantic getaway, family vacation, corporate retreat, Rodney's extensive knowledge of the best hotels, resorts, destinations around the world allow him to tailor each trip to his client's very specific needs and preferences. Whether it's a lavish European getaway, a relaxing beach vacation, or a luxurious cruise, Rodney is dedicated to making his clients' travel dreams a reality. His attention to detail, personalized approach, and wealth of knowledge make him a standout luxury travel consultant. Welcome to the show, Rodney.
Thank you, Flavia. It's great to be here.
It's great to have you here. Your whole business, your company, everything you do centers around one of my absolute favorite things in life, which is travel, experiencing the globe, the world, being out there, seeing new sights, meeting new people. How did you end up in this career?
That's an interesting question because the true story is I retired after 30 years in the financial services industry at age 55. I was single at the time and just going to play golf, travel, and enjoy my life. That lasted about 6 months because all my friends were taking my money at the golf course. And I found it really to becoming quite boring. And so I was looking for something to do. I knew I didn't want to go back to the stress of Wall Street. So I started asking my friends, and one of my best friends says, "Why don't you go to work for a travel agent? You've been all over the world." And I said, "Well, I really don't want to work for someone." He goes, "Then start your own." And so that's what I did 17 years ago, started my own.
That is amazing. Most people, they reach 55 working in finance, Wall Street, and they just, like you said, they start to play golf, but that's kind of it. And I talked to a friend of mine who's a doctor, and he says the number one thing that shortens people's life is to just stop, to retire and not really have more than one or two interests and not to grow and do new things. But you literally at 55, you were like, that was barely a midpoint. You've had this career now for a really long time. How does it compare to what you did before? Is there some part of you that wishes you had started this venture when you're 25? Or are you glad that it's a second career for you?
I think I'm glad it's a second career. It's a whole lot harder than being a financial advisor. I mean, we managed our clients' money ourselves. We didn't use money managers or mutual funds. We actually managed the money ourselves. And so you had to know a whole lot about a limited number of investment. In our case, it was mostly individual stocks. In travel, it's completely different because the world is a huge place. And our clients expect us to know something about where they want to go, what they want to do, and what to do when they get there. So it's much more challenging. And that's why it's really wonderful that I've been able to attract 10 ladies to work with me that cumulatively, I need to update my bio because you said 185 years. It's actually over 200 years of experience that we have. So there's someone in our office that's been there, done that to almost every nook and cranny in the world.
That's incredible. So you've planned countless itineraries for people with all sorts of requests and desires. Is there any that's particularly unique or that stands out in your memory as a trip that you helped organize, which is really out of the norm and fun and different that we would want to hear about?
We try to make all of our vacations fun and different because I think that's what keeps people coming back. But probably some of the more challenging ones, we do a lot of multi-generational vacations where grandma or grandpa takes the kids and the grandkids and picks up the check. And those are always challenging because we've got to find things to keep everything from a 2-year-old to a 92-year-old happy on this vacation. But we do it, and we do it with a great deal of success. Our local newspaper here in Naples, Florida, did a feature article on us a few years back on the front page of the business section. And they spent a whole day with us taking pictures and listening to stories. And they titled the article, "Take the Kids and Pick Up the Tab."
Take the kids and pick up the tab. What a great way for families to stay close and to create memories together that they can carry forward for the rest of their lives. That's really special. Travel, when you travel, I think it's money so well spent because it's experiences and it's these memories that stand out forever. For me, I'm very curious. When people reach out to you, do you find that most of the clients that come to you are looking for those cities and countries that are, I don't want to call them common travel goals. I don't want to say that because there's nothing common about it. But a lot of people are like, I want to go to Paris. That's my dream. Or I want to go to XYZ, very specific places that a lot of people have gone to, a lot of people have already done. Do you find that's the norm? Or most people are like, plan me a trip to a place I've never even heard of that I should know about but don't. And I want to do something that none of my friends have done. So which is it? Or is it kind of 50-50?
Okay, so what you're talking about is what we call a bragging rights vacation. But I want to go back to just one second. You talked about, on the multi-generational vacation, you mentioned something about memories. And the CEO of a major global beverage business a few years back was quoted as saying that dreams are far more important than memories. And I always tell people, I said, he may know a lot about running a global beverage company, but he knows nothing about life, because I assure you that memories are far more important, at least in our line of work, than dreams. I take my children on a multi-generational vacation every 2.5, 3 years. And the memories that we create will be there long after I'm gone. As a matter of fact, all I have to do is send the email out. Okay, the next family vacation is 18 months from today, and here's what we're going to do. Let me know sometime in the next few days if you can make it or not. Within 15 minutes, the phone starts ringing, the text messages and emails come in from my kids and grandkids, and they're all in within less than an hour because they know that we're going to go create some more memories. Now, back to your question. Bragging rights is what you basically ask about. And that's what we find, especially with our clientele here in Southwest Florida. They don't want to just go to Paris like everybody else does. They want to go do something over the top in Paris or in Athens or in Bora or wherever it might be. They want bragging rights when they come home. They want to walk the 18th fairway at the Masters with Tiger Woods. It's all about make it something so special that everybody I know will be envious of my vacation.
And not to mention these days when every single one of your vacation photos can be on social media, right? Back in the day, if you went on a trip, show the album to maybe a few of your friends and family. These days, you can literally have a public display of all your fun adventures, which is a little bit of a change. Has that affected your industry? Social media has, I think, opened the eyes for a lot of people as to what's possible. And everything that's visual definitely gets eyeballs. So do you think that it's easier to work in the luxury travel industry in today's economy that is so visually based and so much about social media and going viral and people sharing things so widely?
Flavia, our sales numbers and our agency travel volume would indicate that's a great big all caps yes with lots of exclamation points after it, because our business post-COVID has grown at rates that nobody, when I show my friends the charts, they can't believe what's happened to our business. And I think COVID was one event. I think maybe the 9/11 was another event that made people realize that today's all we got. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. Not that it ever was, but the reality of it has really sunk in. And I think people are doing things that they've been putting off for years, maybe decades or longer, because my friend Dr. Philip Randall in Atlanta always says, enjoy yourself. It's later than you think.
Excellent advice. That's for sure. And so true. So, do a lot of people travel domestically, or do you find that the majority of your clients want to go international?
Most of our travel is in some way or another international. Quite a few people lately have said, we're just going to do the US for the next couple of years because they had a bad experience with the airline or the fact that the world is topsy-turvy in certain areas of the globe. But for the most part, I would say, and this is just, I'm pulling a number off the shelf, but our international travel is probably 90% of our business.
And is it a little bit of a nail biter to have a business where so much of client satisfaction does depend on other companies, airlines, and we all know how dependable and fun they are, or a tour operator overseas or a hotel, or there's so many parts of the experience that you really have no direct control over, but that directly affect your customers' satisfaction?
We do have some control, but you're right, it's not direct control. The airlines, everybody by now knows that the airlines are going to be what the airlines are. And there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of things that have to happen for an airplane to be available and to fly you to where you want to go. And so most of our clients know now they want to go. They used to go a day early if they were starting some type of a tour or a cruise or something. Now they're going 2 or 3 days earlier just to take out the stress of that one key component. I have 3 different luxury conferences that I'm going to over the next 2 months so that I can be in the know. I can meet one of these meetings is 5 days, and I have 80 appointments with different representatives from hotels around the world so that we can dot the I's and cross the T's with those particular types of individuals. Our clients in particular in Naples, they want luxury and they don't mind paying for it. Naples is one of the few places in the world you can actually move to thinking you're old and rich and be wrong about both. We know the luxury brands, we know what they're going to deliver, and they seldom, if ever, disappoint. So we do everything we possibly can, but we have the caveat that, but this is the real world, and sometimes things are going to go awry. I have clients today that are in Banff in the Western Canadian Rockies on what was supposed to be a train trip through the Canadian Rockies. But as you probably saw in the news late last week, the Canadian rail system went on a strike. I think they're back to work today, but they've been moving about on a motor coach as opposed to this gorgeous train. But what they're seeing is, they said, it's worth the trade-off and just to be there. But that's Mother Nature gets in the way sometimes. Governments get in the way, unions get in the way sometimes, but we always try to make the best. We offered the clients a refund and just come home, and they said, "No, we're here. We're gonna stick it out and see what happens." And they're having a wonderful trip despite all the calamities that they were looking at just a few days ago.
Incredible that you've built this industry, this company in an industry that had so much pivoting and change, because when sites where you could book your own airline travel popped up, I'm talking about the Travelocities and all those companies. You just go online, find your destination, buy your ticket. A lot of people said, oh, that's the end of travel agents. But that was really the beginning, because now there's so much more that can be done out there. And you're not just booking a flight. That's the difference. And there's people listening who may be thinking, hey, I never even thought about getting into the travel industry as a profession, as a business. Is there room in this industry for entrepreneurs who want to start something, who want to build a business within the travel industry?
Absolutely. Absolutely. When we started this, I had no idea what in the world I was doing. I had been in business for almost 30 years, and in various parts of that 30 years, I was the guy that was signing the front side of the check versus the back side. So I had some idea how to run a business, but I had no idea how to run a travel business. So we bought a franchise. We bought the number one franchise in the travel industry, and we've never looked back because it's been a great marriage. The technology that we have that comes from that provider and the access to global markets is, I don't think there's anybody out there. The other thing is that's really odd, and someone said to me yesterday, I didn't even know travel agents existed anymore. I talked to a high-ranking official at a cruise line the other day, and they said in excess of 70%, 70% of their business comes from the travel advisor community.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
What kind of advice do you have for people who don't vacation enough? Because I think I don't want to call it necessarily cultural, but in the United States, employers tend to really not give a lot of vacation time to their employees. Usually it's whatever they have to offer to be competitive in the marketplace to hire, and maybe whatever's legally required. But there's a shortage of time to go out and explore the world. And some people feel that even if they have time, they may not want to put their resources and money and investment into creating those memories. So, what would you say to someone who's feeling like, hey, I really just barely vacation. And when I do, I definitely don't do anything memorable or unique. How would you encourage someone in that position to rethink their choices?
I would make them aware of the 6 health benefits of traveling. There's actually studies out that prove that traveling lowers your risk of heart disease. It boosts your immune system. It lowers stress. It increases happiness. It promotes physical activity. And most importantly, employers, if you're listening in, it boosts creativity.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's huge. And a lot of companies are starting to get it. I have 3 children and 2 bonus children. And I call them bonus because they truly are a bonus. They're not a step, they're a bonus. And from time to time, they'll be thinking about making a career move and blah, blah, blah. And I said, here's the most important thing. What you get paid is important, but time away from work to recharge your batteries, to re-energize yourself is just as important. And what I'm finding is more and more companies today are having unlimited PTO, as they call it, paid time off. And what happens is you only take time off when your projects are done and the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed and you've qualified for your bonus. And that's smart for the corporations because they know these people, if they've hired the right people, are going to be there and get the job done and then enjoy and they've earned and they enjoy the time away.
Amazing. There are people listening right now who you've either completely inspired them to book their next vacation. And that starts with just look at your calendar, find some time, protect that time, block it off. That is now your vacation time. And then you can start dreaming and planning. And Rodney, your staff, you can plan something amazing for anyone that wants to do something unique and exciting and maybe not unique. Rodney, I'm sure you have people that come to you and say, no, I just want to go to Paris and I just want to do all the things like the Eiffel Tower and everything that people post on social media. I want to live that dream. And you can make that happen too. Besides that inspiration that a lot of us are feeling, what would you say to somebody who is an entrepreneur, is feeling a little bit maybe trapped in the job they're in and just wants to know that there is more possible in life for them?
I encourage all of our clients to have what some people would call a bucket list. We don't call it a bucket list. I have a lady who's a client of ours who's an incredible speaker. She's done a number of TED Talks, and she says, I prefer to call it an experience list. And what she means by that is she explains it. She goes, I don't want to go to the Kentucky Derby. I want to attend the Kentucky Derby and I want to sit on Millionaire's Row while sipping a mint julep at the finish line for the Kentucky Derby with an outrageously beautiful hat, and everybody wants to take my picture.
I can picture that.
And she did it. And she did it. But you have to dream like that. I don't want to go to Paris. I want it. And you've got to have this list of things and if you don't have that list, we'll help you put it together. But it's so important because if at that number 6 on that 6 health benefits of traveling, boosting creativity. Pray tell, who doesn't need more creativity in their life and in their job?
So you have a podcast. Tell us where we can find that podcast, because everyone listening right now obviously enjoys podcasts.
You can go to the luxurytravelerspodcast.com, or you can go to luxetrav, luxetrav.com, and just click on the podcast. You can find it at either one of those locations, or you can find it anywhere you listen to your podcast, whether that's Apple or Stitcher or all the different places you can download a podcast. The 2 best places, though, are our website, luxetrav.com, or the Luxury Travelers Podcast, because there you can get the video. And with our podcast, video is really important because we're going to show you the places. We're going to show you the cruise ships. We're going to show you the animals on safari. We're going to show you all that while we're talking over it. And I'm interviewing the CEO of a safari organization, or the national or global sales director for a cruise line. And we're going to show you exactly what they're talking about while you're listening to the podcast. So it makes it much more interesting in our business because it's a very visual thing.
Any final words for listeners?
I think I'd have to say there are 5 myths about what we do. One is, I don't have a travel consultant. I don't need a travel consultant. I have the internet. The internet is for looking, and travel advisors are for booking. Most people think it costs more. It doesn't cost a penny more. It's going to probably save you money. And we don't just book flights and hotel reservations. We put together dreams. And a lot of people think they can put together the exact same itinerary. You know what? When you got 200 years of experience sitting on around the table with you, just go try to put together the exact same itinerary. And anything else, a lot of people say all travel advisors are the same. No, just all CPAs, all attorneys, all doctors, all whatever. They're not all the same. Everybody's different. You need to find somebody you're comfortable working with, and someone that you know and, most importantly, trust.
It's been so inspiring and fun to chat with you. I can just imagine an adventure out there on the world stage that you put together. I think it is just so much fun what you do for a living. I am really glad you got bored of golf. I am just really happy about that.
I'm glad you're glad. If you're glad, I'm glad. Hey, by the way, if you want to tell your listeners, they can send us a text and we'll send them the 25 secrets to a great vacation.
Amazing. And what is that phone number that they would send a text to?
They send a text, and they just, in the text message, they text it to 66866. And in the message, just put 25, the number 2, the number 5 secrets, 25 secrets, and we'll send that right out.
And we'll make sure to link that as well in our podcast guest gift vault, which is at podcastguestgift.com. Rodney, been so great to have you on the show today. Thank you so much.
It's been great, Flavia. Thanks for inviting me.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast, and if you leave a review on iTunes, I promise I will read every single review. If you know someone who makes a full-time living from part-time work, and maybe this is you, please visit lifestylesolopreneur.com to nominate a guest or to nominate yourself. Because remember this, money doesn't buy happiness, but money in the hands of a happy person, there is no greater tool.
Today's episode was brought to you by the Get Shift Done program. It's a lifestyle-changing online class to help you define your business and lifestyle ambitions, and to set goals in a way you've never experienced before. This class will 10x your daily productivity with methods that will blow your mind. And if you use the coupon code podcast, the class tuition is 99% off. Visit GetShiftDone.com to enroll today.